Hello again, Dr. Jim Shaw again. Let's talk briefly about Chapter 2. What goes into Chapter 2? We talked about Chapter 1, and one thing I should say is each chapter should dovetail neatly and nicely into the next chapter, so that if you go in retrograde order, Chapter 2 should have elements that hark back to Chapter 1. Chapter 1 should have elements that foreshadow or give an indication as a suggestion of what follows in Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is the statement of the problem. You're going to state the problem for us. Again, we don't know.
Well,
So you'll be stating the problem. As you state the problem, keep in mind that the topic is appropriate, it's worthwhile, and it's feasible for you to do.
well,
Sometimes students have kind of a global sense of what they want to do, or a national sense. They want to make a huge contribution. That's a noble ambition, it really is. But in the confines of a 100 to 120 page dissertation as a finished project, you may not have the time to take kind of a mountain load or do tons of work to show us this project is feasible. It probably would not be feasible if you want to write 400 or 500 pages. It would be feasible, though, if you clearly state the problem so that you can see why the problem is important, the purpose of this as a topic, where you're going with it, and let us know so that we can join you on the journey and assist you when you need assistance. The background of the problem. Think of background as the ground behind you, if you will. So you go back and you turn around to see the path of that problem, because problems are dynamic, whether they're psychological problems or sociological problems. They move, they're very seldom inert. They don't really stay in one place. You're letting us know the background of the problem. So you, figuratively speaking, are turning it around and getting a chronology and history that you're presenting to us in terms of why that's a problem. And as you state the problem, in your statement of the problem, we now have a present time focus of why that problem is legitimate, at least in your opinion. Next is the purpose of the study. Why are you doing the study? What's the purpose of the study? What's the aim of the study? Where is it going? Okay, what's the rationale for embarking on the research? We need a little bit more than, oh, I was talking to my friends and we had a bet as to who should do this, and I drew the short straw, so it's incumbent on me to do this study. We need a little bit more information than that. Most of our learners here at Cal Southern are passionate. We like to see that. We like that excitement, because that can be the driver to assist you when you have that moment of not being able to call or find research that you need. But that passion, that enthusiasm is there, and it can continue to drive you. Okay? So we need to see what interest you have and why that interest is there. Often, it's both intellectual and emotional that tells us it's a good study. You've explained to us succinctly, you articulately, as to why this study is important and why it's important to the field of psychology, or why it has social issues that predominate. So we need to hear all that in your understanding, in your words. Again, use the outline technique. As you're composing this, outline first. That way you have something to follow, something that keeps you focused. We don't expect you to write an erudite tome that needs no editing, that's flawless, that's perfect, and that reads like a bestseller. Just simply outline, and then put that in, again, a couple of paragraphs so that we can see that you have a clear concept of Chapter 2 and where you're going with Chapter 2. So in a nutshell, that's the components of Chapter 2.